Here we are. Here we are again. And George is not here because he had to do other things. He's recording his
community
podcast.
service.
Community
for
service.
It was just a misdemeanor.
Can't talk about it.
Public urination. Maybe I'm saying too much, but we'll just leave it at that. The olive oil kicked in. He couldn't help himself.
It did.
It just did. But we still respect him, for the most part.
Oh, God.
Uh-oh. Here he comes. Here he comes. He's being paroled.
It's Seti Binko Part 2, The Revenge. The show where we create revenge sequels that nobody wanted. This time, it's Person Ale. Did you ever meet Person Ale?
It's Seti Bimco, The Revenge. It's Seti Bimco Part 2, The Revenge.
There you go.
That daydreams about revenge sequels that were never
made.
And I start by picking a question out of a hat, out of a jar. It asks the question, which character in this movie is most likely to? And this week, it's the one most likely to number 7. Quietly take over the world.
Oh, wow.
kind of appropriate.
Quietly. Huh.
Not the general, but we'll get to that.
Well, I got your email about Hitler. Cats that look like Adolf Hitler. And there are a lot of them out there.
Are there?
Well, yeah, like I Googled Kittler, and like it came up Kittler cat. And there's like videos and articles and pictures. I mean, there's like some like have like the hairdo, some have the little mustache. No. It was really quite something. It's quite an array of kitty cats out there that look like Adolf Hitler. Apparently, there is some sort of subgenre fan base out there of these cats that look like Hitler.
Without George here, we're just going to talk about Hitler.
Yeah, we'll just Hitler.
But for the audience at home, it was a film. Apparently, somewhere, I don't know where this is. There's a news broadcast, and on Saturday they do the weather. This woman does the weather, and it's called Catterday Weather. And the woman was apologizing because each week someone sends in the picture of their cat, and the week before, someone sent in their little cat. It's all white, and it's got a little black mark under its nose. It looks like a mustache, and the name of the cat was Kittler. She was apologizing.
Yes, so sorry about that.
Was offended.
Yeah, and what did they do? And unfortunately, they ran it during Passover, and so it's like, man, I mean, geez, you're getting ready to sit down to Seder with the family, and they pop up. I mean, that just ruins the high holidays, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying?
I was wondering, what if Kittler had an emergency and you run to the vet, and the vet is Dr. Schwartzman, and you interrupted his Yom Kippur for your emergency.
Exactly. You'd be like,
no. The cat's, his name is Mickey. It's not Kittler.
I did a little more research, and there is actually a history of animals that look like authoritarian despots. From Italy, there was the Mussolini Mastiff. The Mussolini Mastiff, the dog, the Mastiff looked just like. Then from Chile, there was the Pinochet Pekingese. From the former Soviet Union, there was the Joseph Stalin Springer Spaniel. And then there was my personal favorite from Cambodia, the Pol Pot bellied pig.
And these were all real. You look these up.
They were all real. And the guy was on the internet. It must be true.
Yes. It was on Fox News.
It was on Fox News and on the internet, so it must be true.
What was that last one? Pol
Pot belly pig. My personal favorite. That is a good one. I saved that one for last because I thought that was kind of...
We're sorry, George. We destroyed the show.
All this fun we're having without you here. But we will say George was actually in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the Bay State, I'm not quite sure where he is, but he is talking about Greek gods to school kids again.
Are you tracking him? I forgot where he was.
I think that's what he said. He didn't tell me where he was going. I don't think he told us where he was going. Maybe he did, but I don't remember. But I'm thinking, with all this, blowback on quote unquote woke culture, I'm wondering when, because they're pagan gods, I'm wondering when the conservatives are going to start banning New York Times bestselling author and Seti Bimco Part 2, The Revenge co-host, George O'Connor's graphic novels.
I'm sure it's happened.
Oh my God, his sales will go through the roof. His sales will go through the roof.
Yep. So, I think I adapted Fahrenheit, and that keeps selling since that book is about burning books.
Yeah.
So.
I think one of the cable channels or one of the streaming services, they're doing a remake of Fahrenheit 451, or they did it already. Okay.
They did it. I think HBO did it, and I never did see it.
Yeah.
And now everybody's taking their streaming stuff down. Like, I don't know if you've seen the news, but.
No, I don't watch things.
Oh,
I don't. No,
I didn't. If you're like, oh, I didn't watch the last season of Game of Thrones, I'll watch it. And HBO has taken it off. It's like there's a time limit now, which we always thought, well, we was subscribed to HBO. All the shows
it would
were there.
Be in perpetuity. What is it? In perpetuity. Whatever. I can't even speak.
Petunias.
In petunias. It would be in petunias for the rest of. For the rest of human history. Really? So they've cut it. I've never seen an episode of Game of Thrones, so I guess I'm never going to, I guess is what you're saying.
Well, you can rent it.
Oh, sure. Yeah. More money for, rent it or buy it from HBO.
Petunia. That's what that couple calls their cat Kittler when they go to the vet.
Yes, exactly. Petunia.
The vet's like, it doesn't respond to this name. What's going on?
Yeah, it's like, I never know. Really? You think it looks like? I never noticed that before, Dr. Schwartz.
We have at the bottom of this episode, as we say, we're going to watch. We watched, and we're going to talk about an Irwin Allen pilot that was never made. It's very short, called The Man from the 25th Century.
Yeah. Well, it was made, but it was never picked up.
Yeah. I don't know if it was ever shown on TV.
I don't know.
Like a theme song.
Yeah, I don't see there's that annoying high pitch whatever, that your Mussolini Mastiff or your Joseph Stalin Springer Spaniel would probably respond to. But I don't know about your whole pot-bellied pig. I don't know how pot-bellied pigs react to high-pitched sounds, but yeah, I don't.
There's not a lot to talk about. So if you have anything that happened to you,
no, not really.
Anything happen with you?
No, just as we always tell our listening audience, we record these several weeks in advance. Just Easter out at Mom's, lots of ham.
Okay. All right. An Easter egg hunt?
No. Do you know how much a dozen of eggs cost these days? No, we did not have an Easter egg hunt.
Well, they're plastic now. They think they did plastic when I was a kid. Just they had a chocolate thing.
Oh yeah, I guess they did. See, I don't know my Catholic school. We didn't have time for Easter egg hunts. We were too busy, having to, being guilted into the fact that Jesus got crucified and rose from the dead, But
I will say,
I do remember we'd go to Binghamton. That would be like we'd go to Binghamton for Easter every year to see Aunt Anne.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I will say, you reminded me, because we have time. I think back how weird Catholic school was. In 5th grade or 4th grade, they actually took us on a field trip in Catholic school, John.
Oh, my gosh.
And you'll never guess what this field trip was for. We went to a little church that was out in the country. It was an hour drive. I don't remember where it was.
Because you weren't getting enough church in Catholic school, so they had to take you to another one. Okay. Yep.
And you want to know why we went there? You're not going to guess, so I'm not going to make you
Did
guess,
the Virgin Mary appear?
You're close.
Am I really? Oh, okay.
It was a little church with Jesus on the cross was in there, and people were seeing blood come down. You know, they were seeing
out of the
visions.
stigmata. Oh wow! Did you notice? Did you see it?
Nope. We were supposed to. We sat and prayed, and we're like, "See if you see anything." And I was like, "No, I don't."
Yeah, and then they yell at you, "Tim!
I really want to."
Timothy Hamilton, you're going to burn in hell. So they're keeping track. If you saw the blood, you're going to go to heaven. If you didn't see the blood, you're going to burn in hell.
How weird is that?
Very weird. That's how weird that is.
Very
but, you know, going to
think...
Catholic school, I mean, you think about, wow, that was weird. But then if you kind of go back to your mindset as a Catholic school kid, it's like, well, no, actually, no, it wasn't so weird.
When they said to us, so if you want to be altar boys, follow Father whoever over to the church. He's going to teach you how to be an altar boy if you want to be.
Yeah, teach you to be an altar boy. What was that code for?
Everybody got up except me and the girls because I was like, I don't want to do that. I was very shy. I don't want to stand in front of the stage.
Right.
And they said, if you want to be.
Right.
And I didn't go. And then they came and said to me, no, actually, it's not a choice. So go.
It was never. It was never a choice. Again, last week, I think it was last week or maybe the week before, I was talking about people, you know, about if you're thinking about converting to Catholicism, don't bother.
Right.
Because nothing is a choice.
No, nothing's a choice.
There is no such thing. There is no such thing as choice. You do it or you burn in hell. You don't eat meat on Friday or you burn in hell. You don't go to the novena or you burn in hell. But I can remember being an altar boy. Oh my God, I'd hate it so much. They had a 6:45 mass from Monday to Saturday. Ooh. And like once every 6 to 8 weeks, you would get assigned the 6:45 mass. And it was like a 2.5 mile drive from our house, which doesn't sound like a lot, but back then it was kind of, you know, especially getting up, you know, having to be there by 6:45 in the morning.
It was 20 degrees out.
Yeah. And it would be like, and then you get either like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So then, like, you know, then you'd be up and my mother would be like, okay, I'm leaving you here because then you can just go to school. The mass was only like 15 minutes long. But then, like, you'd be like, just stay in Saugerties for 2 hours and, you know, we'll get you, you know, you can just go to school. And then, but then sometimes you'd get, they'd, as I said, they'd assign you 3 days in a row every 6 to 8 weeks. But then sometimes you get Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And it'd be like, man, Saturday, really? I'm going to miss cartoons, you know. And of course,
those masses.
Yeah, my mom would be like, okay, I'm dropping you off here. You can stay in Saugerties. I'm going to go back to bed. I'll get up when I get up.
They were only 15 minutes or 20 minutes long because those masses were just full of old people who were like, okay, I need to stay awake for 15 minutes. Right. It went much longer.
I'm alive.
A lot of snoring.
I'm still alive. Both feet hit the ground. Let me go thank Jesus.
Yeah. And I showed up a little early because I was like a worried person. Like, I got to be ready if I got to do this. So I'd be a little early. And the priest, he'd come in 30 seconds before he's supposed to go on. He was like, oh, I'm here. I just woke up. Let me throw on this robe.
Yeah.
Like, really?
What you meant to say, which translates to, ugh, I'm hungover. Let me.
Yes. That's what they said about our priest for a while.
Yeah.
But I guess he had Parkinson's, early Parkinson's.
Oh.
I don't know. Who knows what the truth is?
You know, there is, again, you never knew the truth either.
I want to tell you something. If I can tell this story, I'm not, first of all, not making fun of anyone's accent.
Oh, sure you are.
Not upset with what happened, but I go to a place often Fridays. I order pizza that's made in a nice brick oven for Jean and I. And if she's not home yet, I have a drink at the bar and I'm waiting for the pizza. I know the people. Through the pandemic, they've lost their main bartenders here and there. Mm-hmm. So right now there's a woman. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't even say woman. She is Spanish. I'm fine. If they're hiring her, she's learning her English. I'm not upset about that at all.
Right.
I'm only upset that she's trying to be too nice to me. And she's often like, you want me to turn on the TV so you can watch the sports? I'm like, I don't mind. I don't watch sports. I don't know what's on.
I don't know.
Do you want to turn it on?
What kind of ball is that? I don't know.
I know.
I think it's baseball. Maybe it's basketball. I'm not sure.
And she tries to talk to me, and I'm like, I don't mind if she's learning English.
Yeah.
But the other last time she said, "Do you have keys?" And I'm like, I don't know if I'm understanding you. I'm like, well, I have keys. And she goes, oh, you have keys? How many keys? I'm like,
kids.
And I take the keys out of my pocket. I'm like, well, I have keys. I'm not sure I understand what you're saying. Yeah. And she goes, no, children. Do you have children? I'm like, no children. And then she goes, no, why not? And I'm like, oh.
That's kind of a personal question.
Yeah.
Then you get into the balance beam accident in high school during gymnastics. That's not really any of your business, lady.
I know. I just want to have a beer.
Yeah,
she's trying to be a friendly bartender.
She's trying to be a friendly bartender. She's trying to be courteous to the. Yes, she's trying to. I give her a couple months. She won't be speaking to you in a while. She'll be so over. She'll be so over that job. She'll be like, "What? What do you want? Are you going to show me your? Are you going to show me your keys again?" Is she going to start calling? Is she going to start calling you El Hombre de Huevo?
I don't know what that means. I'm so bad at my Spanish. Oh, good one.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm not making fun of her accent. You
just didn't know. It was no. You're not making fun of anything. It was just it was a communication.
It was
misinterpretation, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, yeah.
They'll get a new main bartender again. I can't ask her for a mixed drink. She'll just call over as somebody else. So I just have a beer.
Oh,
not that I need a mixed drink.
Some nights you need a mixed drink.
So should we get to this show that's very short?
Yes.
Although we can fill up the time.
We can.
We can talk about Irwin Allen because he made, I don't mean to be unkind, but he did not make good stuff. Once you're past the age of 11, because I saw Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, which he made. Mm-hmm. When you're a kid, you're like, oh, this is cool. There's toy submarines. You can tell they're toys. But it's pretty bad. Once you're like 12, I was like, oh, Star Trek is good. Lost in Space is a kid's show.
Right, yeah.
Which he also made, Lost in Space.
Yeah, do you know Lost in Space? Lost in Space was set in 1985.
I think I remember that.
Yeah. Place. Well, I mean, you think about it. I mean, Kennedy as an inauguration said that they're going to put a man on the moon at the end of the decade. So you had in a year, John Glenn orbit the Earth, and then you started having all these rockets going up. And within 8 years, they were on the moon. And I guess they thought, well, at this rate, at this pace, we'll be in Mars, and we'll be to Mars in like another 15 years or so.
Well, we should say Lost in Space came on in 1966, was it? I forget. Somewhere around there.
Somewhere around there. 66, 67, somewhere around there, yeah.
CBS turned down Star Trek and said, we'll buy Lost in Space. So big mistake. Big mistake. He also had a show called Land of the Giants where people landed on a world where it was like Earth, but everyone was a giant.
I remember that. The one I did not remember was the Time Tunnel. I didn't remember that show.
Canceled after one season.
Maybe that's why. Although the guy, apparently James Darren, who plays the protagonist in this pilot, actually played in the Time Tunnel, if I did my research correctly.
I think so. Because he would save money. He'd use the same alien costume from Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea and Lost in Space or whatever. And I wish George were here because Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea was so silly that there was an episode where some of the crew members turned into werewolves. I found that in my research.
I know. I was thinking about that because you were talking about how I was picking all these and I only picked one movie with a mass murderer. I mean, I suppose The Spawn of Satan kind of was a mass murderer.
Too.
But
wasn't Bing Crosby. He was the weed killer.
Yeah, okay, I guess so, yeah. But they were asking for it, those people. But
and there was a killer clown in one episode of and Voyage to the Bottom because I remember that's the only thing I remember as a kid. It scared me. That was played by the guy who played Dr. Lovelace. His name was I wrote it down. Oh, Michael Dunn. He played the villain in Wild West. He was a little person.
Oh,
he played Dr. Lovelace, if you remember. He was on Star Trek once. He was on Bonanza.
Okay.
So, anyway. So let me give a quick, very easy synopsis for what this show is going to be. Some aliens with big heads on a planet that was 500 years more advanced than Earth.
Well, let's do the title. The title of it is...
A Man from the 25th Century.
There we go. I don't know. Maybe you said it already. I don't remember. But just in case you didn't, I wanted to.
Okay. It's about a man who was kidnapped when he was a child by aliens from a planet that's 500 years more advanced than Earth. Thus, I guess technically the 25th century. They train him in telepathy and how to fight, and they're going to send him to Earth to infiltrate Earth's defenses so they can invade Earth, I guess.
Yeah.
That's all we know. There's not much more details to it. He's going to infiltrate Project Delphi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with its radar umbrella.
His name is Tomo on the planet, or Robert Prentice on Earth.
Right. Do they ever refer to him as Tomo? I don't recall them referring to him as Tomo. I don't recall
Maybe
any.
in the beginning.
Oh, did they really? Maybe I missed it.
John Crawford plays Bonte as one of the many. It's all men with giant heads.
Men with giant heads. That's right.
Testing him at the beginning. His telepathy powers, his powers to fight. And they're worried he still has human emotions or human sympathies, which they don't want him to have. And this pilot was 18 minutes.
Right.
And again, I thought George would be here and we'd have lots to talk about. But I have something to say right away because these people with giant heads are right here in the beginning. I don't know if you ever saw the original Star Trek pilot. They had aliens with big heads.
Oh, is that the one without Shatner?
Yes.
Yes.
They use it later on.
I have. I have. I don't know if I've seen the whole episode. I've seen big chunks of it. Yes.
These guys are similar, giant heads.
Okay.
And John, their heads were so big. So
how big were they?
I got my joke already. Get it out of the way. They have their heads are so big they have a hat size called the Fatty Arbuckle. Bunkle. Fatty Arbuckle.
Fatty Arbuckle.
Their heads are so big that dandruff can't escape their gravitational pull. Their heads are so big that the leader's name is Bonte. That the ice at the very northern point of Bonte's head is called permafrost. There you go. That's all I got for these big heads.
Well, this episode really didn't give you a lot to work with. I mean, as you said, it's only like, I don't even think it is 17 minutes, like 16 minutes and 23 seconds. And I don't know. I thought with commercials, I thought it would have been about 23 minutes. So
with the theme song and commercials, it might have been a half hour.
There would have been a lot of commercials though. So I don't know, because normally a half hour sitcom is 21 to 23 minutes, I believe, if you factor in the opening montage and I don't know if the extra 5 to 7 minutes might have made a difference. It might have gotten picked up. So we did mention that it did not get picked up, did we?
Nope. They opens with the training, and his telepathy is not up to snuff, and they kill the person who did the telepathy training.
Right, another big head guy.
And he gets mad, and they're like, "This is none of your business."
Right, you're showing too much human emotion or something like that.
But they're like, "But we have no more time. He may not be perfect, but we got to send him." And they put him in the same spaceship from Lost in Space because Irwin Allen saved money. Yes. I read some interviews with actors. They're like, yeah, shows could have been okay, could have been better, but he just wanted to save money, get his. Yeah,
I wonder how he pulled. He pulled off the Towering Inferno, because that was actually that got nominated for a few Oscars. I think it was Fred Astaire's only Oscar nomination. I remember seeing that as a kid, and that was pretty high production value. I don't know, maybe all that money he saved, he just put it all into.
Well, that was Hollywood. He lost. He couldn't make shows in the 70s, and he went to Hollywood and made Poseidon Adventure and Towering Inferno.
Yeah,
it didn't win an Oscar, did it? It just got nominated.
It might have won. It might have won for visual effects or something like that.
As a child, I liked Poseidon Adventure, but I remember being pretty bored with Towering Inferno. He thought that you needed all this drama about with husbands and wives, and the husband and the wife had to go off and save the day. Right. And I read that he was really surprised at Star Wars. He was like, "What? That's popular?" But well, he couldn't see what people liked in Star Wars, so he was. I don't know what he. I don't know. Well, interested what his. I
don't know if Star Wars was a given though. I mean, up at that point, what was Lucas's biggest film? It was American Graffiti, and then he does a total 180 and brings in. I mean, that could have really gone either way.
I guess.
I mean, nobody. It's like with anything in Hollywood, you don't know till you put it out there.
And speaking of Star Wars, when I mentioned that the Osmonds are the second biggest villain of the 20th century, I can't send them to you. You're not on Instagram. I sent George a little film because the Osmond Show did a musical parody of Star Wars.
Oh, I don't recall that.
It's so terrible. You can look it up. You want to guess who played Obi-Wan in the... Don't look. Just give me a guess. I see you looking to type.
No. I'm thinking. No, let me think. Who played Obi-Wan?
In the 70s.
Paul Lynde.
Oh, he was in it, but he did not play him. He played whoever was taking orders from Darth Vader, one of those guys.
Oh, okay.
No, it was Red Fox.
Oh my God.
Believe it or not.
What?
And Chris Christopherson as Han Solo.
Oh, that I could say.
Look it up later.
Yeah.
Oh, it's terrible.
Oh well,
they just used. Yeah. So
I mean, the Osmonds. You didn't have to tell me that. I mean, that goes without saying.
So Robert Prentice, this man who's sent to Earth, drives a car out of his spaceship, and he seems to drive right to Project Delphi. They leave a lot out of this plot. He's going to this project he wants to invade. And on his radio, Project Delphi says, "We're going to take care of your control of your car. Let go of the
get your hand out the wheel." And he doesn't take it off right away. And then he finally does it. He looks like he's going to be heading right into the mountain, and the mountain opens up.
Yeah, and just like Batman.
Just like
drives right into the mountain. And they're expecting him because I guess he's impersonating someone. They don't explain that, but I guess he's impersonating someone who should be at Project Delphi.
Right. And they're showing
General Atwood.
Yeah. And they're showing him
General Atwood.
Kind of like the reactor. He just kind of wanders off, until finally.
Well, wait, they do explain that it's a project that will shield Earth from outer space attack. So they seem to know.
Right.
There's aliens. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's color-coded levels, pink, blue, red. Amber level where children get lost.
They didn't ask for any identification from him. They just took him at his word that he was who he was supposed to be. I'm like, okay, all right.
They said this goes 1 mile deep to the center of the Earth, and I was like,
a mile? Really? A mile?
There's a lot of weird science in this.
Yeah, well, or lack of. There you go.
Lack of science.
There you go.
Yeah. He runs off, like you said, tries to kill a guard, but he's too human and he can't.
Yeah, he's going to throw him in the little reactor thingy, and he just doesn't.
Then he fights some other guards, and every time they fall against the walls, explosions happen. I don't know if you noticed that.
The computer, they're very sensitive computers. They really should get somebody in and fix those things, because it's like you just bang up against them and they blow up. It's like, ooh, that can't be good. You think somebody would have seen that coming.
Yeah. It was, I forget, this is only 2 minutes, but does he fight two more guards and things?
He fights two more guards, and do they ever ask him who he is?
They capture him, don't they?
They capture him and they take him to wherever the control room is. And
the aliens are watching, and they're like, uh-oh, we're going to have to send a death force to Earth.
Right.
And I'm like, death force? Why didn't you do that in the first place?
Right, exactly. Why did you send this guy who apparently doesn't even know what he's doing? Advanced by 500 years my ass, I mean, come on.
Yeah, I know.
Come on. You didn't have this figured out already? So they
do send a spaceship.
Right, and they kind of send a warning shot, and it blows up a little settlement with a gas station. And I think that's what
that's my question.
Yeah,
they said there's a gas station settlement up there. Oh my god!
Like, people are living in the gas station. I mean, what?
Is that what they used to call those?
I don't know. Maybe the settlement rose up around the gas station in the middle of the desert. I don't know.
It was the 60s. Maybe hippies were living there.
Dirty flower child hippies. Yeah.
Dirty hippies.
Dirty hippies. They deserved it. That was Irwin Allen's way of saying, we're not going to get the science right, and we hate dirty hippies.
They made the gas out of garbage.
Yeah, out of pig urine.
The grease from the McDonald's French fries.
Something they heard about from from England. They're operating vehicles with pig urine over in the UK. Just be careful; it's highly flammable.
Yeah.
Not as flammable as the computers that they've put into that top secret Project Delphi, but pretty flammable.
And General Atwood, he's panicking. He's screaming everything. He's like, "You see that? They blew up a gas station settlement."
Yeah.
Like every line he was screaming.
He did not do well under pressure. No wonder they didn't send him to Vietnam. He just can't handle any stress. How he got to be a general? He must have married someone or was a nepo baby. I don't know how he got to be general. Maybe he tested well. Maybe he tested well at West Point. I don't know.
He had some bone spurs. There you go.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
So at this point, Tomo, or Robert, he's kind of conflicted because he does have some human emotions, I guess.
Yeah.
He's telling everybody they're coming, they're going to attack. They've reversed the radar waves, which will allow them to blow up the station. So like I said, a lot of lack of science going on.
Yeah.
And he does use something to turn off their reversed radar waves. We don't know what it is.
We don't know what it is. Had there been a second episode, maybe they would have gotten into that.
And
or maybe that's why he didn't get picked up. They're like, okay, so explain this. How did he reverse their radar waves? And everyone's like, I don't know. They're like, well, buddy, if you want us to pick this up as a series, you got to answer these questions. You don't have answers for them. So maybe that's why it didn't get picked up.
A whole episode could be dedicated to that. So then they send a duplicate Tomo, who is he a machine? He exists only to destroy. He's got no emotions. And again, why didn't you send him in the first place?
Right.
They just teleport him there.
Right. Right.
So he fights his double, and machines blow up every time they fall against them.
Yeah.
Sorry. I sent an email to both of you. I was like, I like to pick movies that are vacuous so we can fill them up with our thoughts. And this is so vacuous.
Yeah. I don't even know what to think. It's like,
need to fill it up with a milkshake.
Something like that.
A shamrock shake.
Ooh, a shamrock shake.
Do you like those?
No.
Did you ever like those?
No.
I didn't either.
I never liked them. I was never really big on McDonald's.
As a kid, even?
Not even as a kid. My mother didn't serve us stuff like that.
Well, I like to go there if I got to go.
I do like if I'm going to go, I'll I'll do an egg McMuffin and a hash brown and a cup of coffee. Like if I'm going on there, if I've left early in the morning and didn't really feel like eating, early in the morning, and then I get down the road a little ways and I'll see a McDonald's and I'll go in and get some breakfast. But beyond that, no, I don't really do McDonald's or anything like that.
Well, just to be geopolitical for a moment.
Okay.
Am I wrong that when I was a kid, McDonald's was manned by mostly teenagers? There might be an older teenager there who went to college and was on break, and he was the manager.
Yeah.
And that was who was in charge of McDonald's. Now,
you're over 12 years old. You can't play on the playland. Yes, sir.
So I would be sent there by my mom when she was very old. She loved their coffee. And she's like, will you go to McDonald's, get me a coffee? Because I don't eat at McDonald's. I haven't been in a McDonald's in 30 years. I've been in one, but I don't eat there.
Right.
So I went and got her a coffee. And I'm not being mean, but there were older people there who looked like you successfully got off crack.
Right.
You got a job.
Right.
I'm not being mean.
No, you're just stating and this is...
Is that what I'm seeing now?
Right. Well, and...
Like adult...
And that brings up, I kind of feel like, and I'm all about, the $17 minimum wage. I think that should be federal because down in North Carolina, it's still $7.25 an hour down there in a lot of those southern states.
So,
but I always felt like they kind of singled out McDonald's for that. It's like, yeah, but McDonald's wasn't supposed to be the place where the main breadwinner earned their living. It was meant to be like your school job, but I don't even know if kids get school jobs anymore.
Well, they do, but But McDonald's seems to have adults that need
Yeah,
jobs.
yeah. But so
You worked at Pizza Hut, right?
I worked at Pizza Hut, yeah. But you had to be 18 to work there.
Oh, okay.
It's because of the like the machinery, like the dough hooks and the slicers and everything, and the ovens, and you also they served alcohol. So you had to be 18 to work at Pizza Hut. You couldn't be.
As you told me, you weren't happy with the people that came in 5 minutes before closing.
Oh God, I hated them. They mess up the salad bar.
I won't say what you told me, but
No, don't. I had a lot of fun in that job. Of course, I was high half the time, but no, I had a lot of fun in that job.
I knew someone who used to live in Florida, and he lived in an area where celebrities went a lot. And he said he was at a burger joint, and Buddy Hackett came in. Buddy Hackett ordered. You know this story?
No, but I believe it.
Oh. He ordered a hamburger with fries, and the man said, "Sorry, you just came in. We closed the kitchen, and we're done." And Buddy Hackett was like very mean. He's dead, right?
Yeah.
His family can't sue me.
Yeah.
He was like, "I don't care. You start up the grill. You make me a hamburger, or I don't know what he said.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you fired."
He bullied the guy.
Yeah.
The guy started up the grill, made him a hamburger, gave him the hamburger and fries. Buddy Hackett put his cigarette out in the hamburger and walked out. So there's your celebrity story. That could or could not be true. Don't sue me, family of Buddy Hackett, if there is a family. This Buddy, I'm afraid he'll come up. He's going to rise from the grave and choke me out.
Yeah, the spirit of Buddy Hackett. Yeah, you just it's like Ben Crosby allegedly beating his kids. You just never know.
What's his most famous movie? Just
it's a mad world. I remember he was in that.
That's his most famous movie.
I mean, it's the one that I don't know if it's his most famous movie, but it's the one that comes to my head. It was always he was more like a Vegas performer. He'd be like on Carson. He'd like do talk shows. He was more of kind of like a stand up as opposed to. He probably did like
imagine his stand up.
I guess apparently my Uncle Tim went to see his stand up once, and at one point he took off all his clothes.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't know.
All of them?
All of them.
Did he wear big whitey tighties?
All of them. All of
Monster.
them. All of them. So I don't know if he had an alcohol problem, if he was blasted out of his mind, just took all his clothes off on stage that night.
He didn't even pull the Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Didn't even put a sock on it. That's what my Uncle Tim told me. Again, my Uncle Tim is no longer with us either. And so I can't, but I do remember Uncle Tim saying, yeah, we went out to Vegas and we saw Buddy Hackett. I'll be damned, he was butt naked. No.
His act was probably about having a cat named Kittler, and he'd have to make up a fake name when he took it to the vet.
Maybe.
So there's trying to find things to talk about, because this show ends with him fighting his evil duplicate. He defeats him. Wow. Did he disappear, or did he blow up? How did he defeat his double?
I'm not sure. Maybe they left that open because maybe the double was going to be part of the continuing storyline.
I think he hugged him to death.
Maybe that's what
he hugged him to death.
Maybe that's what it was.
Or he escaped. He escaped and adopted a cat named Kittler.
Yeah.
So it ended, and basically, I guess the show was Tomo there. He was a traitor to the people on the planet with the big heads, and was going to help Earth.
Right. It's only just begun.
It had only just begun.
Yep, but it didn't. That was actually the end. Ironically, that was it. Until Seti Bimco Part 2, The Revenge came along.
Wherever you are, wherever you're hiding, I'll find you. I'll get you.
Revenge.
Revenge. One of us will die. One of us will die.
I will not let Cindy take my place. I will have my revenge. Let's do who would take over the world? Was that the?
Yes, we're gonna workshop that. Who would quietly take over the world? Well, not General Atwood. He shouts about everything.
Yeah. I'm going to say the guard that he knocks out in the beginning and is going to throw into the reactor, but in the last minute doesn't.
Right.
And
why him?
Well, because you said quietly and nobody's going to suspect him because he's just a guard.
Right.
And he has slowly been, gathering information, sensitive government documents.
Oh, does he steal Tomo's little machine that mysteriously saved him? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. And then, so then he, is while they're all concentrated on the aliens with the big heads, he is slowly going out, much like our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, going out among the people, getting all these followers and building up an army.
Oh, he goes to all the gas station settlements.
Well,
and gathers the hippies that live
maybe
in
not, because that's also in my revenge sequel. But yeah, there could be two.
It's okay,
There could
John.
be two there could be two spinoffs on this involving because you kind of have to string the spinoffs together.
No, you don't have to.
Yeah, in this case, we will. It's like Oscar Goldman on the $6 Million Man and the Bionic Woman.
Right.
That Richard Anderson must have been making a pretty good paycheck back in the 70s, because he was on every episode. He was like on two nights a week.
Yeah, he was.
Probably never paid him for the Bionic Woman. They're like, you didn't read the fine print on your contract, didn't you?
That was my favorite show.
The $6 Million Man?
The woman. I had a crush on her.
I think she won an Emmy for that, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, yeah. It's probably terrible if I look at it now. But how does he take over the world? He's going around from town to town raising the army, I guess. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
With this object he stole.
He stole from Tomo.
Robert.
Yeah, or Robert, or whatever we're calling him.
Maybe he joins up with his double and Kittler.
Yes.
And okay.
And then sometimes, like, because he's the double, like when the actual Tomo / Robert is out doing whatever he's got to do, he actually comes back to infiltrate the generals and all that. And they're like, wait a second, you're not Tomo. You're that pesky double, aren't you, Dagnabbit? That could be the catchphrase on the spin-off sequel. You're that pesky body double, Dagnabbit.
Well, yeah. This one is a comedy, just like Lou Grant became serious. This one
becomes a comedy, but it's not funny because Irwin Allen did it.
Never did a comedy. He also did The Return of Captain Nemo. And I was like, this would be great to watch, but then I looked at it, and it's a miniseries, and it's 3 hours.
Oh, Jesus. I was thinking about that. One day I think George is going to pick like a 3-hour movie, and it'll be like George, and George is going to want to go scene by scene by scene, and it'll be like, no, it'll be like a 3-part Seti Bento Part 2: The Revenge. George, we got to stop you right here, and we'll be back next week with the third and final installment of George O'Connor's miniseries.
George will get visited by Tomo's double, whose existence is only to destroy. Well, we filled up almost the hour.
Yeah.
So who wants to tell their revenge movie sequel? Oh, is that so he takes over the world quietly? Okay. I don't know if we finished that.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of tough because it could be anyone, and there really aren't a lot of characters in it.
There's no women.
Yeah, I don't know.
John in the 70s, he creates pet rocks, and he makes $1 million, and he quietly takes over the world. He didn't know. He didn't realize it. There we go.
Isn't this like about the sixth person we've talked about that's created the pet rock? We need to find out which of these stories is true. Is all I'm saying.
That's our ad lib.
That's our.
Well, I'll move on. Wasn't it the same year? What do you call those little birds that they used to? Everybody bought that would drink the water. And
like the little bobble in the glass.
I don't know what you call them.
I don't know what you call them either. There is a name for them.
I'll look them up for next week.
Yeah.
Don't you start typing in the. You want to read your revenge sequel?
Yeah, mine's very short. Okay, short-ish.
Go ahead.
Basically, my revenge sequel involves not everybody at the gas station settlement was killed in the attack. There is one gentleman who is out there, and we'll name him Rodney. I didn't think to name him. And so he's the survivor of the He's like the lone survivor of the gas station or something, because he was out. He has a pickup truck with a winch on it that acts as like a tow truck. And, he's kind of like the AAA guy, and he comes out and he helps people. And he is so angry and so bitter, and he wants revenge for his family and friends being wiped out. But he starts taking his pickup truck around and helping distressed motorists. And, he puts the the broken down cars on the winch, and he drives them back. Even with like flat tires, and people are like, it's just a flat tire. Can't you change it here? He's like, nope, got to take it back. Well, what he's doing is he's recruiting them for his secret army, because he is going to rise up against the aliens that kills his friends and family.
Gotcha. Does he have a friendly dog named Goebbels?
No, he doesn't. Okay. No. And if he did, he was killed in the explosion. Anyway, so the big head guy who, like they said, failed in the training apprentice and they allegedly killed him, actually, he kind of wound up in something like the Phantom Zone and Superman. Anyway, he appears. And since he has the big head, this guy, what did I name him? Barney? I think I named him Barney. Did I name him Roger? I can't remember.
Rodney
names him Hedwig because of the big head. So Hedwig helps him with, driving around with the pickup truck with the winch on it that acts like, a tow truck, and he's helping him, and he's telling him about the aliens' weaknesses. And they finally raise up the army, and they go into battle to defeat the aliens. And the name of the movie is Hedwig and the Angry Winch.
I like your new musical theme. So you're doing these stories.
Oh, they don't break out in song,
Nice
but that's
one.
an idea. We could make it a musical. We'll make it a musical.
Irwin Allen never made a musical. I'm sure they'd be good if he did.
It'd suck.
He'd hire the people that wrote the music for
It'd be like one of those.
Osmond
It'd be like one of those
TV show.
jukebox musicals. Not a good one either, because it would be like instead of the Four Seasons or the Beatles or Donna Summer, it'd be like, I don't know.
Who wrote musicals in the 60s, late 60s? They quit by then.
Gosh.
They'd all given up.
Was Leonard and Lowe? Was that? Were they? Who did Camelot? That was the early 60s. Do you know they're doing I think it opens tonight. They're doing a revival of Camelot. Aaron Sorkin has written the book and taken all the magic out of it. What? Yeah. So Merlin's not a magician or a sorcerer, and there's no enchanted forest, and I don't know how they're going to pull this off. But anyway, it's opening tonight.
This is on Broadway.
On Lincoln Center.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, you take all the magic out of Camelot. What do you got? It's like, let's remake the Wizard of Oz, but she doesn't go to a magical land. She just stays in Kansas. How good is that going to be? I don't know.
That's one of my scariest memories is
Camelot.
The Sound of Music. Because when I was a kid, like the first time. My parents watched it every year, but the first time I was a kid and I was like, okay, I'll watch this, because most years I'm like, this looks boring. I'm going to read my Spider-Man comics. But they get to the end, the Van Trapps get away and the Nazis run to their cars and their cars won't start. And the nuns are like, oh, well, I got the distributor cap or whatever they stole.
Right. She
says, Sister Mary, I have something to confess. And she's got the distributor cap. I don't know what part she had. I don't know the car parts. So the Nazis' cars don't start, and next scene is they're free in the hills. Right. And my dad or somebody at that moment said, "Oh, but you know what they did to those nuns?" And I'm like, "What?
They cut that. What did they do? They cut that scene out." I was going to say, didn't they get out their machine guns and just open fire on the convent? Yeah.
Probably, but when you're a kid with imagination, I'm like, what?
Set that to music, Rodgers and Hammerstein. What song do you sing after that?
I kind of felt they probably tortured them before they killed them.
Probably, yeah.
Anyway, fill in time here without George. My revenge sequel, and plus this was 18 minutes. 18 minutes we're talking. My revenge for the man from the 25th century. Okay,
Okay.
After The Man from the 25th Century is canceled, in my universe, it ran for like 34 seasons, and it's canceled. So it's made into a movie called The Woman from the 26th Century, The Revenge.
Ooh.
So she's from the planet of giant spearheads. That is. Okay, let me get a drink of water.
Compose yourself.
Spearheads.
Compose yourself. That's it. Take a little sip and.
This is about a woman from the planet of giant spearheads that is 600 years more advanced than Earth, thus 100 years more advanced than the planet that is 500 years more advanced than Earth. The men from the big spearhead planet, they don't name these planets, who trained the man from the 25th century never listened to the women on their planet. That's why you didn't see them. They were always telepathically mansplaining how to appreciate the music on their planet. They would telepathically mansplain how to appreciate bands like Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Uranus, Emerson, Lake, and Uranus, David Bowie and the Spiders from Mars. You thought I was going to say Uranus.
You thought I was going to say Uranus.
So, thus, all the females went off and created a new world called Giant Spearhead Planet. Their heads were twice as big as the heads of the heads on the men's planet. What do you got?
So they're even more advanced than the 500-year men.
More advanced.
But the best thing they could come up with was Giant Spearhead Planet.
Yeah,
they weren't very creative, were they?
No, because their planet was 600 years more advanced than Earth. Anyway.
I'm sorry. Did I mess you up? I didn't mean to.
That's okay.
That was just a burning question for me. Like, really? That's the best you could do?
I meant to say, thus their planet was 600 years more advanced than Earth. In this way, they would get revenge on the big spearheaded planet. They were happy on their new planet listening to Space Pussy Riot, Pat Benatar, and Dolly Parton without any big-headed mansplaining these bands to them. They had a few men from the giant-headed planet on the woman planet. They were only used for creating clothes for drag shows, which were the most popular form of entertainment on the giant sphere-headed female planet. Man, this is a tongue twister. The female planet doesn't want to let the big-headed men planet invade Earth and use its resources to become more powerful than the giant sphere-headed female planet. And thus they take a young girl from Earth from the year 1975 who is simply enjoying her new pet rocks. They take her to their planet, and they train her so that when she's an adult, she can read men's minds, and she's 10 times stronger than common Earth females. She's sent to Earth in 2020 to defeat and kill Tomo, the man from the 25th century. But she sadly arrives in Florida. She tries to learn about the history of America, wants to get books out of the library to do so, but people keep telling her to stop being so woke. Maybe I should say 2022, but... Then she asks where the nearest drag show is, and she gets arrested. She tries to fight the police off and use her telepathy. And when she enters their mind of the people who are arresting her, she hears all these theories about JFK Jr. coming back to life and the Earth being flat. But she also hears about a vaccine which will cause men's testicles to shrink, and she feels that's a great vaccine to get a hold of because I can use it against the planet of big-headed men. Thus, sadly, that's the day she ran off with QAnon. And the last anyone ever saw of her was when she was spotted on the news where she was holding a sign that said Biden was really a secret reptile from the planet of humongous reptile-headed men, and that he never won the election. And she never completed her revenge mission.
Oh.
Thus, that's the end. The man from the 25th century, meanwhile, he often annoyed women by mansplaining how ladies should enjoy Hootie and the Blowfish.
Oh my God.
And was reportedly killed by Hillary Clinton.
You're just pulling out all the greatest tits, aren't you?
Yes. Got my year wrong. She was sent to Earth in the year 2022 to defeat and kill Tomo, the man from the 25th century. There, now it's all great. It's all perfect.
There you go. Now it's all, that ties it right up. There you go. Now I get it.
Let me check. You can talk about whatever. I'm going to see if there's emails.
No, I'm not going to interrupt you. Do we have any?
Oh, no, I'm done. Oh. I'm done. That's it.
Oh, okay.
That's it for my story.
Do we have any emails this week?
I don't think we do.
No, what a shock.
We are the podcast. Listen, don't Don't email us. We don't want to read these emails.
Right. Although we did get a 5-star rating on Good Pods, right? Yeah, from Australia.
Milk. Yep.
What was
I
it?
enjoyed Milk.
Milk. And
Milk.
was it a Max?
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I'm going to have to listen to that because, boy, I mean, we're maybe 2 steps from Milk the way you have been milking these pet rocks. And
Well, I'm going to look up what those birds are called. We'll get some lava lamps.
We'll
Lava lamps in here.
do it. Yeah, we'll figure that out next week.
What's a popular toy from '85? Rubik's Cube. That's so boring.
Rubik's. I never really got into that.
No, I didn't want to get caught up in that. I was more of a
You were more of a Teddy Ruxpin kind of guy, weren't you?
Ruxpin, yes. Which led to my Beanie Baby addiction.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Were they supposed to be like, I don't know, like worth gold like by now? But yeah, they're like not worth. They probably aren't even worth what anybody paid for.
Did you know anybody that had those?
Oh, didn't everybody in 1999 have them?
Well, I didn't know anybody that collected them. I maybe saw some.
Well,
I meant, did you know someone that had a problem?
I lived in eastern North Carolina. They were easily influenced, I guess. Yeah.
I guess we'll say George probably collected them. He's not here.
He probably did. He probably did. What we don't see in the camera shot is next to the He-Man collection is his Beanie Baby collection.
Yes.
Now they're all He-Man Beanie Babies, but
why didn't they combine those?
They should have.
So did you pick something for us?
I did pick something for us. Are you ready?
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
I hope it's 20 minutes long.
It is actually a pilot.
Okay, that's good. I like
Now it's on YouTube. They have it broken up into 3 different parts on YouTube, but you can follow it. It queues up.
Okay.
It's a British sitcom from 1990, and it centers on Adolf Hitler and Eva Braun, who live next door to a Jewish couple.
This is
No, the name of it is Heil Honey, I'm Home.
It is not.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It aired on September 30th, 1990. I'm going to send you the link. I'm not kidding about this. It's called Heil Honey, I'm Home. And it's all about what would happen if, in 1938, Adolf Hitler and Eva Braun lived in this apartment building next door to a Jewish couple. They wrote 11 scripts for it. They filmed 8 episodes, but after the pilot aired in the UK, they were like, "Oh no, we can't." What? We can't show this. And
okay.
Another thing to look out for, they didn't use it in the pilot episode. It was a different opening montage, but they had created, and it is on YouTube, from episode 2 on, there was like this animated opening montage, which is very reminiscent of like the Bewitched opening montage. It's really bizarre. I've only seen a few minutes of it, but it is really bizarre. But I will Heil Honey, I'm Home.
I can't believe this is real.
It is real. It's real.
I hope they have a cat named Kittler at least.
I don't think they need it since they got the real thing. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Let's see here.
Television
historian Marion Calabro described it as perhaps the world's most tasteless situation comedy.
Jeez. All right.
Well, there you go.
Wow. Is this a whole hour? Do you know?
I think they're like, it's not an hour. It's not quite an hour. I think it's like a half hour to 40 minutes.
So in those, jeez, I don't know what to say. I'm speechless.
Wow.
I will say, don't email this podcast. The email is SETIBIMCO with the E @gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram. It's SETI_. It's SETIBIMCO. Was it SETI_BIMCO?
I'm not on Instagram. I have no clue.
You type it in. We're off Twitter. Twitter's falling apart as we speak. NPR quit Twitter.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. I was upset that they labeled NPR propaganda. So I wrote NPR an email Monday. I said, get off Twitter. Why are you still on Twitter? I love NPR.
Right. Oh, so do I.
And they got off.
Because of your email.
Because of my email.
Ari
John.
Shapiro was in the newsroom down in Washington. He said, hey, guys, this Tim Hamlin, he's got a good idea here. If you're listening, Ari.
Thank you.
Or Terry Gross. Or
Terry
if
Gross
you're
must be
any of you
listening to the
listening, look us up on Instagram or send us an email. We would love to hear from you.
I'd like to come on and do my bit about the people who owned a cat named Kittler.
Yeah. Or we could talk about pet rocks, whatever, you know.
They're at the vet and they're like, the cat's name is Petunia. And the History Channel's on in the background and they're talking about Hitler and his cat Kittler. And the cat's like, what?
Yeah.
The vet's like, he seems to respond to the name Kittler. And they're like, no.
No.
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's going on, Dr. Rosenbaum.
They're like, we got to change the dog's name. Goebbels was a bad idea for the dog. Anyway, poor George when he hears this. He's like,
I know. He's going to be like, oh, my God, they need me so badly.
We're done. We were done with Hitler. Now you're making us watch Hitler again.
It just came up. I don't know why it came up. I brought up like really stupid TV pilots, and this came up, and I was like, "Oh, this ought to be."
We're done. We made it to an hour.
There we go. All right,
Don't send us emails. Follow us on Instagram and give us 5 stars on all the places you hear podcasts.
Please,
we're out there.
We are out there somewhere out there.
All right. Well, have a good night, George.
We really need George back, don't we?
George, come back. But have a good night, John.
Good night, Tim.
This has been a Pity Party Line production.
Party line, it's a party line.
I think that the answer's Hitler.